We're going to call the meeting to order. Please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. Now the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a draft agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move.
Kelly, and support?
I support.
Christy, all in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. We have some exciting recognition items lined up for tonight, starting with our middle school Students of the Month.
This is Annabelle. Annabelle's parents are Christy and Mike. Annabelle has a brother, Ryan, who is her twin. Annabelle's pets are Bella, a black lab, and Boo, a beagle mix. Annabelle enjoys IXL Gold North Star Gymnastics and also plays the violin.
I want to be like a baker or something like that. My favorite thing about school is seeing friends. I would rather work the perfect job because I would feel bad like not earning my money, I guess. It feels good.
This is Jaden. Jaden's parents are Corey and Whitney. He has one brother and one sister. He also has one dog. Jaden went to Parkside Elementary, and he likes to play soccer outside of school.
Geologist. My favorite thing about school is being with friends. Probably work the perfect job because I'm going to have to do it every day and I rather enjoy doing it. I'm proud because there's a ton of 6th graders in the school and I'm proud that I could be one of them.
This is Grace. Grace's parents are Jeff and Megan. She has 2 sisters, Emma and Elisa. She also has one dog, rats, a bunny, and guinea pigs. Grace went to Meadow Ridge Elementary. She enjoys and participates in orchestra and cross country as well, and she likes to do horseback riding.
I don't know exactly what I want to be, but I want to do something with math. My favorite thing about school is seeing my friends and teachers. I'd be stranded on a deserted island with one of my friends. It feels good because I'd like to work my hardest.
This is Mason. Mason's parents are Shane and Susan. Mason's siblings are Nolan, Sawyer, and Natalie. He has no pets. Mason went to Crestwood Elementary. He participates in peer listening, he does track, soccer, and also likes to ski.
I was thinking about an architect. Coming to school and being with my friends. I'd be stranded on a deserted island with my dad because he knows how to solve problems. It's an honor to be chosen as a student of the month because there's a lot of students in the school.
This is Allie. Allie's parents are Courtney and Cameron. She has one sister and one brother. She also has 5 dogs and 4 cats. Allie went to Lakes Elementary and she enjoys competitive dance.
I want to be a hairstylist. That I get to come to school and I get to see all of my friends. For $1 million, I would definitely probably buy a boat. It feels really good because I always try my best every day to be kind and respectful to everyone here at school.
This is Michael. Michael's parents are Lauren and David. Michael has one brother and one sister. He also has one dog and 2 cats. Michael went to Meadow Ridge Elementary and he likes to play baseball, hang out with friends, and go outside.
I am planning on being a DNR officer. My favorite thing about school is science. I just like to do science stuff. I would probably help just like any charity. It just feels like I've made a great accomplishment and a great goal in my life.
Olivia is a 6th grade student on our Gauthier and Zomberg team. Parents are Sarah and Brad. Olivia has one sibling named Molly, as well as 2 dogs named Ruby and Pearl. Olivia attended Belmont Elementary School and loves to read and plays clarinet in the band.
I want to be a geologist. I think we need more women in science. The opportunities and the experiences. I'd work at the perfect job because my hard work would have paid off. And for the lottery, it was just luck. It means that, well, it's kind of great that my hard work has paid off enough to be Student of the Month.
Dexter is a 6th grade student on our Espinoza, Torres, and Van Oss team. Parents are Jessica and Eric. Dexter has a dog named Lula and attended Roguewood Elementary School. Dexter is active in karate and plays saxophone in the band.
When I grow up, I would like to be an anesthesiologist. My favorite thing about school is math first thing in the morning. Really wakes me up. I would rather work at the perfect job because it would be fun doing it and I'd get paid. To me, it means that everything I've worked towards in school is finally paying off.
Ariana is a 7th grade student. Parents are Beth and John. Ariana has one sibling named Aiden and attended Valley View Elementary School. Ariana is active in track and field and plays violin in the orchestra.
I want to be either an architect or an engineer when I grow up. One of my favorite things about school is seeing my friends every day. I would want to be stranded on a deserted island with my family and friends so I would know people. It means that people have acknowledged my hard work.
Landon is a 7th grade student. Parents are Shelley and Matt. Landon has a dog named Jack and attended Meadow Ridge Elementary School. Landon is active in taking a sword fighting class and plays percussion in the band.
I want to be a professional drummer. My favorite thing about school is probably hanging out with my friends at lunch and being in gym. Probably 2 of my friends and my mom and dad. I think it's an honor and just means a lot to me because really means I'm being successful.
Alyssa is an 8th grade student. Parents are Darcy and Brian. Alyssa has 2 siblings named Kira and William, as well as a dog named Bella and a cat named Spidey. Alyssa attended Belmont Elementary School and is active in soccer and plays bass clarinet in the band.
When I grow up, I don't really know what I want to be yet. I still have time to figure that out. My favorite thing about school is being able to see my friends and then going to band class. I'd probably give some to my parents, be nice to my siblings, maybe give some of them, maybe spend, save, invest, I don't know. Means I guess I get a chance to shine because usually I'm like the quiet one in class.
Graham is an 8th grade student. Parents are Jane and Jason. Graham has 3 siblings named Maeve, Piper, and Maya, as well as 2 dogs named Roscoe and Giuseppe. Graham attended Roguewood Elementary School and is active in wrestling club, wrestling at NRMS, and baseball.
When I grow up, I want to be a sports analyst. My favorite thing about school is seeing my friends every day. I would spend some, give some, and invest some. It's an honor, and it means that all my hard work is paid off.
Do we have any of our students of the month in the room with us tonight? We got at least one, all right, a couple. If you don't mind standing up for us. All right. Thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate you being here, and congratulations again on your well-deserved recognition. All right, we're going to move on now to some athletic recognition. Dr. Matthews?
Thank you. This winter we had a very successful winter season, and we had some outstanding accomplishments, and so I'll introduce Cole Andrews. He can come up to the podium, and we're going to introduce some of the athletes that were successful this winter.
You can keep wrapping if you need to.
Dr. Matthews, Board of Education, appreciate inviting us here today. We are going to start off with our gymnastics program, which was fortunate enough to be back-to-back state champs, along with regional champs, community conference champs. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to our coach here, Coach Michelle, and kind of talk a little bit about our gymnastics program.
Well, thanks for having us. We're honored and excited to be here again for our 3rd year in a row. So I'm going to add, we're back to back state champions. We don't want to diminish that. We've also been regional champs for the last decade as well as conference champs for the last decade. So we are excited to be here, and this team was well represented this year. We have 20 girls on the team. We're missing just a couple today, but this is the team of the most depth I've ever had. So when it comes to my first year coaching for state championships, you get to compete 5 per event. I probably warmed up 6, maybe 7 girls, and that what they had to own the events. I had 11 girls compete at state championships for us. The depth and the hard work of all of these girls, there's just there's so much, and we're going to miss them because 9 of them are graduating. But we had a fantastic year. We only lost 1 meet, and we state championship by like 2/10. So we really owned it, but it was due to the hard work of those last couple weeks. We added some new skills, learned some new vaults, and that really helped push us over the top. So we had a great season, and then 11 girls qualified individually as well. So we were well represented at the individual championships, and then 6 of them placed at state championships, and then 3 of them took home a state title as well. So we had a fantastic season. So,
yep, hand out some certificates here.
So Angelia Barraza. You can come, you're starting us off. Congratulations. Aviella Einfeld. That's who we're missing. Here you go. Congratulations. Haley Hill. Haley, I'll talk about you while you're walking up here. She placed on every event individually, including taking home the all-around state championship title. So congratulations on a great season. Leah Cook. Leah as well had a fantastic meet, and she took home the vault state championship title. Allie Majeski. Avery Renberg. Avery was one of our state finishers on floor. So she placed 5th on floor. I mean, it's going to take some some memory here. Nice job this year. Julia Robach. Congratulations. Madeline Simmers. Emmy Smith. Congratulations. Mayel Stelma. I know, we probably should set this up better. Jenna Thompson. Kate Tracy. Kate took home first place on the balance beam this year at state championships. Congratulations, Kate. Ellie Wilcox. Kate Wilcox. Congrats. Elise Watkins. Kennedy Wood. And I'll just brag on Kennedy because your mom sent me a text. She's valedictorian of Sparta this year. Congratulations. And then as I was going through Avi, I forgot to mention she placed on vault and floor with her on her first year with us this year. So.
Congratulations, ladies. Appreciate it.
Yes.
I do want to point out really quick too, so our gymnastics team, even though they're back to back to back and a runner-up prior to that, right?
Yes, runner-up.
And then another.
I've been there 7 years, and our lowest placing is third. And it was my first year.
Gotcha.
So.
I wish more of our community to come out and watch our gymnastics program. They're truly some of the most talented female student athletes that we have. I wish they would get the recognition like our football and basketball programs. So these are truly some phenomenal athletes. If you talk to Coach Cummings, in terms of the strength and overall athleticism, this is some of our most talented student athletes we have, boys or girls. So I know Avery and Coach Michelle do an incredible job with our staff. So thank you to both of you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
right, next up, Coach Richardson and Mr. Ryan Ahern. Real quick, just from a team perspective, I don't want to steal Coach Richardson's thunder, but our wrestling program qualified for the state finals as a team, and we're in the Final Four, which is no easy feat. If you've ever been to a wrestling state championship, in my opinion, one of the hardest programs to qualify for and then make it to the Final Four. And this guy right here is a big part of that. So Coach Richardson, Ryan Ahern, you want to talk a little bit about Ryan?
I do. I'd be honored. But first, thank you guys for honoring these athletes and these students. I think that's so cool, so class. Congratulations to middle school student of the month. And how cool is that? You know, I know the girls all left, parents left, but congrats to those girls. Just getting one state title is huge, back to back to back. That's pretty special. Congrats to those girls. It's my honor tonight to introduce Ryan Ahern. He is the son of Mike and Raquel Ahern. Ryan is, I'm just going to talk about Ryan. I could talk for hours and hours, but I'm going to try to keep it concise. I love this kid. It's weird seeing him on crutches. I've known him for a long time. And this is the only time, I know he's been injured, but he's never shown it to anybody. So this is rare. This is very rare. Kind of weird for me. So Ryan's that guy. He's a complete package for me. He's been the model of consistency in the classroom, in the practice room, on the mat. I talk to my coaches about how special he is. I'm like, boys, they're younger guys and I've been around that long. I'm like, you better drink this up because kids like this don't come along very often. And when they do, just enjoy every second of it. And I truly have. He's been a perfect role model for our program in so many ways. Tonight I'm thankful to celebrate this great young man that Ryan has become and who he's going to be. And tomorrow I'll probably cry myself to sleep. There's so much to say about Ryan, but I do need to just give a few stats. So his senior season, he was 51-1. First in the OK Red, first in district, first in regionals, first at individual state. His career record is 171-10. That ranks him 8th all-time in Rockford history, there's some pretty good kids there. He would have been much higher than that, but COVID kind of, I'm so thankful we got a season, but it really shortened it and kept somebody like this from really doing, some crazy good things. He's a 4-time OK Red champion. There's only 10 other wrestlers in program history that have done that. 4-time regional champion, 4-time state placer. The first one that I've actually had come through is my head coach tenure. We've had a few others, and it's been since 2007, I think, since we had a freshman place. I just think that's super special. He was 7th as a freshman, 3rd as a sophomore, 2nd as a junior, 1st as a senior. Only 7 other kids in our program have done that. This year he was a state champion at 285. We bumped him up to heavyweight. He's not a heavyweight, but he dominated everybody at that weight. And it just, I think he weighed in at 213. And he wrestled guys all of 285. And they weren't even close. To reiterate, Ryan is the complete package. Here are some other accomplishments that reflect more than just Ryan as a wrestler. And maybe these give you a clearer picture of the true character of this special young man. He not only was a wrestler for me, but he was also a varsity. I'm the varsity football coach for a few years now, and he's been a linebacker with me for the past 3. Just absolute special time, just getting to spend all that time with Ryan. But for our wrestling team, he's a 4-time academic all-state team member. He's a 2-time academic all-state individual. You can only get it as juniors and seniors. He's a 2-time captain. That's voted on by his peers. He's the MVP of our team. That's voted on by his peers. I'll let you know how much they think of him. Next year, Ryan's going to play football at Ferris State University. He's going to pursue a degree in engineering. And I'm just honored to present to you one of Rockford's finest student athletes that I've ever been involved with, Ryan Ahern.
Thank you, Coach. Ryan, congratulations. Obviously, I don't have the honor to coach Ryan, but being able to watch him, you don't get any better than Ryan Hunter as a person. And I think that says more about him than an athlete. He's a great human being, and he's going to do big things in life. So congratulations, both you and Coach Richardson.
Thank you.
The diver seems to be doing a little late. I don't know if we want to. Coach, is he on his way, or did he?
He said he was going to try and get here.
Why don't we can still talk about him? Is that okay? Okay. Julian Cardenas is an all-state diver. We have our dive coach here, Doug Carson's going to talk a little bit about Julian. I know he was here last year. We'll provide him the certificate, but I think he's still worthy of giving credit to for his amazing accomplishments. Yeah. Coach, you want to take over?
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes. Julian took first place at state meet for the second year in a row. Not only did he take first place at the state meet, he also broke the state record, which was put up there by Jake Harriman from our school. So he did, yes. And Jake was there as a coach from a different school. So he got to see that happen. That was the at least third, probably fourth, or maybe even fifth record of Jake's that he has broken. He broke both Jake's records of the 6th dive and the 11th dive at our pool. He did the 6th dive last year. He did the 11th dive this year. He broke his 6th dive again this year. This is his second year of taking all first places in every meet. Incredible, very incredible, but a very humble guy. He will stay, there are 36 guys who dive at state meets like that. And he'll stand there, and if he sees somebody do something wrong, he'll call them over and not yell at them, but say, hey, you need to do this, or you need to do that. That doesn't happen very often, not for them. I've been his coach since 7th grade. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. He's going to go to University of Michigan next year on a scholarship. So he'll be doing very, very, very well. He has been wonderful to coach. He's been wonderful to be around. State meet, he got there, decided, and I never talked to him about trying to break records, because that gets in his head. So, but he took and he broke the record. He did a 5:37.95 at the state meet of 11 dives. Now that's pretty doggone good. The record he broke here was 5:38, and he did a 5:58 here. He broke his record with 402 in 6 dives. It's incredible. He's humble. He's wonderful. It's great to watch him do this stuff. He also went, and now this not in our time, but I believe it was either January or December. He did a diving meet in it was an AAU diving meet over in Europe. There were 55 boys on the 1 meter board. He took a 9. So he beat some guys who had been in the, this was in, anyhow, I'm sorry, my brain's kind of going a little weird. There were guys who were there who had been in the Olympics, and he beat them. It's an incredible thing to see happen. But yet he doesn't come off like he's in, like, oh, just go away. He doesn't do that. And he's been that way since 7th grade. He's always thought, hey, come here, you got to do this.
hey, you got to do that. It's been a wonderful time, the 6 years I've had here. It's been wonderful. And he has been so good and so humble. He's supposed to be on his way.
No, thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
Yes.
A couple things to point out. Coach has been with us for quite some time. I believe he's retiring now, so I want to thank for everything you've
Yes.
done for our middle school and high school dive programs, first of all. Julian is a very humble kid. Again, I've had the pleasure of coaching him, but been around him quite a bit. He's a very humble kid. He got talked into running track, and our invite this Friday, he's a long jumper. And I mean, he's got hops. Holy cow. I couldn't believe it. Like, you can jump high off a diving board, and you can jump high off a long jump board as well. So he's an incredible athlete, like Doug said, very humble kid, and he's going to have a bright future at University of Michigan. So, Coach, thank you very much. And Julian was here. We would certainly would make sure he knows that we appreciate him as well. So thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, we're moving on to, I should mention, if you're here for recognition, you're welcome to stay. If you'd like, but if you'd like to step out, we'll take a moment for you to do that. Thanks. Okay, up next is our consent agenda items. We have 7 items on the list. You can see them here, so I won't read them this time, but can I have a motion to approve our consent agenda items?
I'll move.
Jake, and support? Support. Tricia, all in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thanks everybody.
Just one thing, President Folsom, the ASBO Certificate of Excellence is for recognition for our business office for the work they've done, and this is, they've gotten it 2 years in a row, I think?
It has been
many years in a row.
And
Okay.
I don't even know the count.
Very good. So we just wanted to make sure the board was aware of that.
Yep, thank you, congratulations, Allison, to the business office team. Yep, terrific. Very good. Okay, new business, excuse me, item number 1, tenure recommendation. Dr. Matthews?
Dr. Wilson Crawford, tenure recommendation.
Yes, as you know, teachers in the state of Michigan in public school setting are governed by the Michigan Teacher Tenure Act, and that act provides an opportunity for our district to have a probationary period for teachers of either 2 years or 5 years, depending on their previous experience. So a teacher that has been tenured in another school district, when they come to our district, serves a 2-year probationary period. On the first day of their 3rd year, after board approval, they would be issued a tenure contract instead of a probationary contract. For staff who have never been tenured in another Michigan public school, there's a 5-year probationary period, and those people would receive their tenure contract on the first day of their 6th year of employment, pending board approval. So every year at this time, we bring a list of our staff to you that have either served or are almost done serving their 2-year probationary period and their 5-year probationary period. And then in the fall, when we issue our contracts for our teaching staff, these people would then move from a probationary contract to a tenured contract. And so this gives you an opportunity to see that list. All of the people that we're recommending to you today have successfully completed or are almost about to successfully complete their either 2 or 5-year probationary period. And so it is my recommendation to you, Dr. Matthews, that we consider them for their tenure contracts when they start the school year next year.
So we would ask the board to approve that this evening.
Thank you. Motion to approve?
I move.
It was a tie. Christy? And
I'll second.
Kelly, second. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand, say aye. Aye. Thank you. And item 2, staff appreciation resolution.
So this is our last board meeting before May, and May is typically Staff Appreciation Month for educators. And so the board has a resolution that I'd like to read that would honor our staff here in the Rockford Public Schools. Whereas the Rockford Board of Education is proud to commemorate the week of May 1st, 2024 as Staff Appreciation Week through May 7th, 2024 Staff Appreciation Day as a way of expressing appreciation for the vital roles that teachers and school employees play in the education of children and recognizing that our future lies in their hands. And whereas teachers and support staff devote their time and talents in an effort to assure that all children succeed. They are role models for children at the most impressionable state in their development, and it is most fitting that we pause to grant them the recognition and praise that they deserve. And whereas teachers and support staff through their work in public schools provide the basis for the preservation of our democratic heritage, Staff Appreciation Week is an effective and positive way of honoring all teachers and other school employees for their efforts and their influence on the education of those who will eventually take their place as leaders of America. Now therefore be it resolved by the Rockford Board of Education that we commemorate the week of May 6th as Staff Appreciation Week and May 7th as Staff Appreciation Day for all citizens to recognize Rockford's outstanding and dedicated teachers and support staff.
Perfect, thank you. Motion to approve the resolution?
I'll move.
Jake, and support? Christy's got it. Any questions or discussion? And do a roll call for this?
Yes.
Yep.
Tricia Andrews. Yes. Christy Ramsey.
Yes.
Jake. Jared Folsom.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Jake Hibbs.
Yes.
Nick.
Yes.
And yay.
All right, thank you. Up next is our elementary literacy resource.
And so I will turn to Mr. Ram and Sharon Wells, who will introduce the process that we went through to identify a new elementary literacy resource for our DK through 5th grade students.
Thank you, Dr. Matthews. Since 2019, our district has been taking steps to really align our literacy instruction across the district, and we have been building supports in place when it comes to structures for responding to students when they don't learn, when it comes to thinking about curriculum resources that are used across our district, and then really a significant influence has been our instructional coaching team that Sharon leads, and really so putting some people in buildings that are literacy experts and really kind of tooling our teachers with the best possible conditions to help our students learn. We know that literacy learning at an early level is the foundational piece for our students, and so today we bring to you with some great excitement a recommendation for moving to a very much research-based, rigorous, in the science of reading alignment of a curriculum resource called CKLA. So Sharon and her team led a large group of teachers and instructional coaches, assisted greatly with the process. She's going to review that for us, and she's going to talk a little bit about what the pilots look like. Of course, you've seen a lot of our adoption process in the past and how that looks. This is embedded in there. We won't go into as much detail about that because you've seen that. And then we'll talk a little bit about the recommendation. As a caveat to this, the state of Michigan understands the importance of early literacy and instruction and making sure that that is very sound in the science of reading. There's a grant that has been recently released by the MDE called 35J. You may have read about it or seen it in some of your publications. And so that grant is available to support initiatives just like this for the next 2 years. So we're in a good spot where we're partnering with 35J. And we've applied for that and expect to receive the monies in that grant as well. Sharon will touch on a little bit of that. So with that, I'll turn it over to Sharon. At the end, we'll have some time for questions if you have any, and then we'll make a recommendation based on the presentation.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Dr. Matthews and the Board of Education and Central Office administrators for having us tonight. So very excited to talk through this proposal with you. We have been working on this for a very long time, so I'm going to go through that timeline with you a little bit. But you might have heard at the last board meeting, the social studies had a North Star, and we have one as well, and that was really to do significant research and implement a consistent elementary ELA curriculum throughout our entire district for DK through 5 teachers. And we have been working on that for the last 3 years. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that timeline. About 5 years ago, we adopted a program called MESA, and that's done through, it's a teacher-created curriculum through Oakland County. And it was very consistent. It was highlighted in our state as a quality resource for our students. And it really brought our teachers together. They did a lot of unit planning, and we had that curriculum look more consistent. We had a lot of help and support from our instructional coaches. And what we have really been learning since that implementation is that there are some gaps in MESA that we can fill through current research on the science of reading. So what we did in Rockford, and I'm very proud of our efforts of our staff and our instructional coaches to lead this work, and incredible support from our curriculum department, was that we said we first have to understand what the science of reading is and then maybe we can figure out what the best resource would be to implement that. So we actually started 3 years ago with educating our teachers, engaging them in the knowledge of the science of reading. We did a book club that had 170 people in it. And it was all about how to shift their learning from their current approaches to the science of reading based strategies. And then the second year, we said, where is our greatest gap, our biggest need? And that was in the area of phonics and phonemic awareness. So we said we have to find something as soon as possible to fill that gap, to make sure that our students are getting what they need. So we did some research and we adopted 2 phonics programs, one for K2 and one for 3-5, and we implemented them with fidelity. And we did that last year and this year. But there was more work to be done. And a comprehensive literacy curriculum has 5 pillars, not just phonemic awareness and phonics, but also comprehension, vocabulary, and fluency. So we said, we need to find something that will meet all of those pillars and that we can keep for longevity. And so we started to do work this year to choose that curriculum. So this has really been a 3-year process, but I'm going to go through a little bit more specifically what this year looked like. For those of you who are wondering what is the science of reading, it is not new. It is based on 50 or more years of research. But what was happening was we would go to school, into colleges of education, and we only heard the educational perspective of how kids learn to read. But we weren't learning how the brain learned to read. We didn't hear from neurologists and doctors. We didn't hear from scientists. So they took that information and they said to the educational world, there's a process and there's a way that you can teach reading that will match how our brains work. Ta-da, right? You're like, really? It took us that long to figure that out. So after thousands of studies and a lot of research, there has been just a huge shift in our study of the science of reading and how that applies to how kids learn. All of our work is based on that. So these are your stakeholders. Obviously, through Mike Ram's leadership, we were able to go through this process. Our instructional coaches, so valuable and knowledgeable. We had a science of reading team. So it was about 15 people. Every grade level was represented. Special education was represented. We had instructional coaches on that team, and they were part of that work for the last 3 years. We also had tools. So when you want to embark on this significant of a project, you need to make sure you're using research-based tools. These are national, non-for-profit organizations that specialize in the science of reading and what we should be looking at for our kids. So those are the tools that we used to kind of get those resources vetted. We also follow the Rockford Public Schools curriculum process. You've seen this slide probably 5 times before, but we always like to put it back up in front of you because we all use the same process. Then we had an evaluation rubric. That rubric consists of research. It consists of our beliefs of literacy, core curriculum beliefs of literacy. It talks about the state standards. We have core curriculum standards that we have to follow, and that is what we used to vet all of our resources. So I'm going to tell you the 10-5-2 story. We started with 10 resources that I selected based on what we would say were minimally going to be considered, that would be research-based, strategic, rigorous, and had gone through some of those tools that I just showed you. Then we had a team of instructional coaches that took those 10 down to 5, using rubrics, criteria, and a process. Then we took those 5 and we sat in this room with that science of reading team that I told you about, and we narrowed it down to 2. That was quite a day. We had some amazing options. Once we had the 2, you move into pilot mode. So that's when you go into the dressing room at Macy's and say, I'm going to try it on. We were trying it on. So we took 2.5 to 3 months, January through about mid-March, spring break-ish, and we piloted CKLA. Some of you might wonder what that stands for. It's Core Knowledge Language Arts, and an HMH project or product called Into Reading. And we had 47 elementary teachers that piloted. We had 1,000 students that were recipients of this pilot. And in that time frame, Mike and I and the instructional coaches and the principals did over 100 observations. Actually ran into Dr. Matthews a couple times. Do you want to fill out a form? He's like, I'm just going to watch. And through that pilot, we were able to come to Decision Day. Decision Day was a full day with the Science of Reading team. In addition to that, we added a couple of administrators because we had wanted to make sure our Spanish immersion program was represented, so we had Amy Santillan join us, and we had a few additional pilot teachers join us to balance out, to make sure both were represented equally. And then we spent significant time with collaboration, data analysis, and evidence to determine a final level of consensus among about 20 to 22 people that were in the room regarding which of the two would be the best resource to use with our students for the next many years. You can see the green sticky notes. Those are levels of consensus. There's actually 4 levels. You don't want anybody in level 4. they're like saying no. You can see that we had really strong consensus for this curriculum. They were both absolutely wonderful, by the way. And so we really had to dig deep to make sure we were making the right choice. And I believe, and I'm fully confident that we did. Mike talked to you about 35J. The state of Michigan believes so strongly in the science of reading and early literacy that they are dedicating $140 million over the next 2 years to school districts for this purpose alone. So we're fortunate that we are able to use this money to cover almost 60% of our 6-year contract. So we're very fortunate, blessed, and appreciative because the timing could not have been any better. What happens next? Pending your vote. We will move forward with a transition plan. That plan includes learning labs, and you may not know exactly what that means, but it's a Rockford teacher teaching a lesson using CKLA with Rockford teachers around the perimeter of the room, having before and after conversations with that teacher about what they saw. It's all peer-to-peer, it's led by instructional coaches, and it's powerful. We are going to be doing learning labs for multiple grade levels under the leadership of Jamie Bakita to have our teachers experience watching it before they actually have to do it themselves. We will be videotaping a few of our teachers teaching full lessons, lower L and upper L, so that we can distribute those videos through Beyond the Rock, thank you. He's over there going, I know about this project. So that we can have people watch their peers. We will then have a full day training. It's the week school gets out. Each teacher will attend 1 full day of training. It's called initial training through CKLA. And then in the fall, they do something called a strengthening half day. So maybe October-ish, they will have support from the company that will say, hey, you've been doing this about 6 to 8 weeks. Where are you? What other support do you need? How can we assist? That kind of thing. They also provide us with coaching from the organization that we will use with our coaches to kind of do the train-the-trainer model. And then, of course, our instructional coaches will be by their side for all of these years to come. A quality curriculum takes 2 to 3 years to become part of your culture. We do not expect that next November everything's peachy and our kids are brilliant and they're all doing amazing. We do expect that that will happen, but it takes time. And we have to support them the entire time for that to be the case. I'm leaving you with a quote because when you teach a 4 or 5 or 6-year-old how to read, it stays with them forever. It's the #1 indicator of their future academic and social success. So this is a legacy we're leaving behind when we're teaching kids today. It's forever. Any questions regarding this important work?
I just want to point out how valuable this is, the science. I'm a big supporter of the science freak, so it's nice to see us be able to implement some curriculum that's based around that and to time it with the state grant is amazing.
And because our teachers know why it's important, they're so excited for these next steps.
I didn't think of this until now, but does CKLA provide support in years 2 and 3 or even beyond that? If
Yep,
needed?
whatever we decide to use them for.
Yeah.
This 35J grant is actually a 2-year grant.
Okay.
So I most certainly think we'll be taking advantage of it
Yeah.
the second year.
Yeah, got it.
In the initial professional development budget that you see in front of you, it will say it's for next year.
Yeah,
But we can always add on.
got it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
good question.
I think it's one of our expectations that, something like that, they're gonna be able to personalize based on need in the future.
Yeah.
And so that's certainly something we consider.
Great.
First of all, great presentation. Second of all, I like to look into these curriculums, and this one is a winner, a huge, huge, huge winner. Thank you.
Thank you. We're very excited. It's been a long time coming, so.
Nick?
Yeah, a couple things. First, we're really fortunate that we can invest in people that have time to do such a data-driven thing. It's not the cool thing that an administrator saw at a conference or the best sales presentation. Obviously, there are just the number of people, there are thousands of hours invested in this. And it just builds on the investment that this board has made with recommendation from the superintendent's office, your predecessor and you, and Corey's help. I know we've invested, I don't know how many, but you heard instructional coach. We've invested in a few full-time equivalents, at least in my tenure. It's been a lot. So to see when we went back, 5-6 years, when we had the test score, the bell tolled, right? And there was a lot of angst. We've done an incredible amount of work to get those scores back up where they're at, and to now see the tools with the human intervention that we've done. I'm super excited. I'm also pleased to see that it's a 6-year commitment where, the board administration are out of the way and we can kind of see where it's going, and we're giving you a long lane to look at, because I know the temptation's going to be there. If it stays flat or whatever, we can see what that's going to be. I'm just really fortunate that we can invest in that, because there are some places where it's one administrator sort of making this decision, and we've done a data-driven thing, which we've talked about strategically in everything we do. I'm super happy about it, and I can't wait to come back to a board meeting 6 years from now with fully gray hair or no hair, and see the results. I'm looking forward to that.
Good. Anyone else? Yeah, Trish?
I just want to echo what everybody else has said, and I feel so thankful for all the hard work that you guys are putting into this, and that my kids are still young and they get to benefit from all of your hard work, and so thank you.
Thank you.
You good?
The memo and the packet that I've included includes the budget and a little bit of the overview of that, as well as you saw that 35J grant contribution that Sharon mentioned at 60%. So if there are no further questions, then we would ask that you consider the recommendation for approval. And if that was approved, we would begin work right away so that our students could take advantage beginning day 1 of next year.
I just have one more comment. On the $140 million, again, this is one of those famous categoricals that Lansing will do, and they'll commit to 2 years and then poof, it goes away. But I would hope that the administration and this board at least has listened in the past. That grant notwithstanding, I think we would do this anyway. And don't be shy if you need. I want to say CKLW for all those from the other side of the state. But just keep that in mind. Don't be shy to ask if we need additional support, because more often than not, that 35J is poof, and it won't show up again until there's angst in Lansing. So I just want to point that out, and something for us to think about.
Yeah. It's a significant investment, but we're talking about teaching our youngest learners to read. So it's pretty important. So
you've heard the recommendation tonight. I would like to express my appreciation to Mr. Ram and Ms. Wells and the instructional coaches and all the teachers, the classrooms I visited who were piloting. It was tremendous work. I had an opportunity to talk to many of those teachers about what they were seeing, and we believe this is a recommendation that will have tremendous benefits for the district, and so we would ask you to approve that this evening.
terrific, thank you. A motion to approve?
Motion.
Kelly, Kelly in support, Christy, everybody wants it, sorry. Very good. Any other questions or discussion? All right, all in favor, please raise your hand, say aye. Aye. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Ms. Wells.
Thank you, Sharon. Up next are Ederton Trails startup instruction costs.
So we would turn to Mr. Ram, and this is getting ready for the opening of Ederton Trails this fall.
My understanding is that you had the opportunity to visit Ederton Trails today, and by your head nods and smiles, I think we feel the same excitement about that as well too. So this is the proposal here is just to allow, or for an allowance to do some startup costs in the music room, the art room, and the band room. I'm sorry, I'm missing one here. The PE room, the gym, and then also to outfit the library with books. And so included in the proposal for roughly $162,000 is a list of items that have been curated by specialist teachers in the district. Those items basically put Ederton Trails on the same level playing field in all of those areas as the other elementaries in our district. So that's how that list has been curated. And so we obviously want to be ready early, and as we are starting to go through the staffing process and assigning those rooms to people, we want to outfit them the right way as well too. So I've outlined some allocations by subject, and then of course we have for the library a standard of 15 books per student, and so you see an allocation there. Should you have some questions about the startup costs, I'd answer those at this time. If not, we would make a recommendation, and then we would move on with some purchasing.
So this would get us started. We bring it to the board tonight because there's kind of a ramp up that we need to get our orders in order to ensure that the materials will be here for the start of school in August.
Questions for Mr. Ram?
I saw dodgeballs on there, I'm good. So many things going away from my youth. I saw dodgeballs, they stuck out to me, we're still doing that. Congratulations.
The building's beautiful. It's a beautiful space. I cannot wait for students to see it.
Very cool. Okay, motion to approve the recommendation. I saw Trish's hand go up. Support. Christy? Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Very good. Up next, our Crestwood teacher station purchase.
Mr. Rand or Ms. Clements, I'm not sure which one.
Feel free to add on if I missed something. How about that? We've been bringing some furniture recommendations to you over the course of this winter and spring. That's in anticipation for our overhaul prior to next school year. Over spring break, Cannonsburg, it received teacher stations and student furniture. And so that went extremely well with the team that we communicated with, and also the teachers have been very flexible and receptive. We're off and running. There's excitement about how that's renovated that space. Tomorrow we start, right now as we were standing here, Parkside teacher stations are being renovated or upgraded rather. So we're begin our rolling schedule today. After school we'll do approximately 6 teacher stations all the way through the district. And so today's recommendation for the $161,000 plus is for the teacher stations at Crestwood Elementary, which will occur in July. And so that should round out essentially our ordering of furniture until probably next spring, maybe with the exception of some punch list items, which I don't see being an amount to bring to the board. So this would allow us to upgrade all teacher stations before the start of school for next year, and it probably will be right about before the start of school as we can finish.
So we would bring this to the board tonight so that we can get this order in, so that it can the work can take place over the summer, so we can have all of our teacher stations throughout the district upgraded before the start of school this August.
Very good. Motion to approve?
I move.
Support. Kelly and Jake on support. Any other questions or discussion? Yeah. Oh, you're gonna
I should
do your thing.
just give you
Yeah.
a statement. I'll be abstaining. My wife works for one of the vendors. While not directly compensated, it would be appropriate for me to abstain from these next 6 monthly meetings on furniture purchasing.
All right, thanks, Nick. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody. Item 6, technology bond purchase.
So we'll turn to Ms. Clements and for this item tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Matthews. I'd like to invite up our Director of Technology, Bob Stahl, and Kristen User from Communications by Design, who's our technology consultant, to help with this. Included in the 2019 bond issue scope are new elementary student devices, as well as additional staff spare computers. Just want to give you a little bit of history. We first had one-to-one devices in the elementary level starting in the 2016-2017 school year. And then we replaced those devices with Chromebooks for the 2020 to 2021 school year. Those Chromebooks start in 2nd grade and run through 5th grade at the elementary level, with iPads being used at those younger grade levels. The typical useful life of a Chromebook is, in K-12 schools, is 3 to 4 years, so we are right within that time frame from a student Chromebook replacement perspective. We typically choose Chromebooks over Windows devices, primarily because there's a lower purchase cost associated with them, as well as simplified administration. So that's the reason for the Chromebooks for those student devices. As far as the teacher devices that are part of this proposal is a need for additional staff spare computers, which will be used for substitute teachers, new teachers, and replacements of damaged laptops. And those computers are Dell Latitude laptops. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Jenna.
99%.
Sorry.
So what we do here is we go out through the Regional Educational Media Center. It is a nonprofit made up of 28 regional educational media centers operated through the intermediate school districts. So it's a consortium of media centers asking for materials. This really gives us a broader reach and a better competitive advantage of getting these devices at better prices. And what they do is they post all this up. We wait for kind of these competitive statewide bid. They follow all the same guidelines that we would in a regular state bid. They're sealed until the day of opening. And we look at that when it comes out and review what we need, or Rockford Public Schools need. So with that, that would be looking at 2,700 student Chromebooks, along with 120 laptops for teachers. That includes substitute teachers and also some device purchases for replacements of damages and so on. So looking within that, we look for those devices, a few extra services beyond that, which are the protective sleeves for the Chromebooks, operating licenses, software, and a white glove service, which is a lot of help to the IT staff and themselves, which include unboxing devices, attaching barcode stickers, enrolling devices, making sure that everything's updated to the latest standards of operating systems, and just helps the IT focus on schools and not these things. And that's really it. Yeah, so it's a great service, it's highly competitive, and a lot of companies go after for these materials.
Great. So the recommendation is to approve the purchase of student and staff devices through the REMC SAVE, and REMC is the Regional Educational Media Center that Chris described moments ago. That program in the amount of $759,610 to be funded with proceeds from the 2019 bond.
And you discussed this with Building and Site, I think, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yep, this concept, proof of concept was presented to the Building and Site Committee on March 19th for review.
Great. So we would ask the board to approve that this evening.
Perfect, thank you. Motion to approve. Nick, Barb, support. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
The Valley View Bus Loop Approval, item 7.
And we turned Ms. Clemens again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matthews. Included in the 2019 bond issue scope is the repaving of the parking lot and improvement of the bus loop at Valley View Elementary, as well as the removal of portable classrooms throughout the district. I know, it's very exciting. I'd like to invite we have Jared Voss here from O'Neill's Kimball, and we have Sean Hayward, who is our Director of Operations. They're going to help with this presentation as well. Proof of concept was presented to the Building and Site Committee on January 30th for approval, and the bid tabulation and award summary were presented to the Building and Site Committee on Tuesday, March 19th for review.
Thanks, Allison. I appreciate the time tonight. Just a little description of the bid process. The project went out to bid back in February. The bids were accepted February 28th. We've solicited bids from all West Michigan contractors. The bid categories in this project consist of 2 bid categories: earthwork and asphalt paving. We had 6 earthwork contractors give us a bid and 7 asphalt paving contractors give us a bid. So it was a good coverage over both categories. I'm happy with that. The low bidder, actually the recommended bidder for the earthwork portion is actually Bob's Paving. We vetted them and looked for references, and they've done work with Sparta and Coopersville schools and a handful of other districts in the area, West Michigan area. I think they're out of Ravenna. And then for the paving portion of the project, we recommended Michigan Paving Materials, which is local, right on River Drive, supplies paving materials to a lot of the contractors, and then also pick up paving projects. So that was the 2 bidders we vetted and recommended for the project.
So we would come tonight with asking the board to approve this bid for the bus loop at Valley View and the portable kind of getting them out of our district.
The portables out there. The amount is $777,919 to be paid out of the 2019 bond proceeds.
Very good. Okay, motion to approve, please. Kelly? Support. Tricia, any other questions or discussion?
I don't believe it was mentioned. It came in under budget.
Even better.
Even better. Thanks, Lynn.
Which is nice.
That was an easy carrot there that wasn't mentioned.
All right, all those in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
All right, now I'll have you stay up here because we are now going to talk about this next.
Carpet.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, go right ahead. Valley View carpet approval.
Perfect.
Ms. Clemens?
Thank you. Included in the 2019 bond issue scope is replacement of flooring at Valley View Elementary. Proof of concept was presented to the Building and Site Committee on March 19th for review. And so, again, I introduced Jared and Sean to talk through this as well.
Valley View flooring. This actually bid beginning part of March, and actually bid out. The bids were accepted right before we went to spring break, March 26th. 1 bid category for this one, very easy for that one. So when we accepted the bids, we had 6 bidders, 6 flooring contractors bid. With that being said, the low bidder on this, and we thought they had a complete bid and they're reputable in the area, was Phoenix Interiors. We post-bid interviewed them, and they're qualified in installing the power bond product that's going in this in the building, and they have a good reputation in the West Michigan area. So they're a low bidder for that, and they're under budget.
What's that?
Jared, I don't know if you want to click up there. I think there's the also the map, like the floor plan. I think it's a separate tab up there. Yeah.
Sorry.
So I just wanted to point out, and you might be able to speak better to it than me, but as you know, Valley View Elementary is a highly populated elementary building and has been for many years, and with that comes a lot of extra wear and tear on the flooring, among other things there. And so that is partly why it is time for this.
And we did the 4 classrooms on that the northwest corner of the building, because those were some rooms that we did not do the last time we did the whole renovation. So everything will be freshened up at this time.
Terrific. Thanks for that. Yeah.
The recommendation is to approve the bid packet in the amount of $139,346 to be paid out of the 2019 bond proceeds.
So we'd ask the board to approve that this evening.
Very good. Motion to approve. Christie, and support? Barb's got it? All right. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye. Very good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, appreciate it.
New business item 9, digital signage.
Ms. Clemens, I believe this is your item as well.
Thank you very much. I again would invite Chris Muser from Communication by Design back up. Bob, you might be able to stay there. You're there if we need you. Included in the 2019 bond issue scope is the replacement of the interior digital signage systems in the secondary buildings, as well as adding interior digital signage to the elementary buildings. Proof of concept was presented to the Finance Committee back in January for approval. The bid tabulation and bid review report were presented to the Building and Site Committee on Tuesday, March 19th for review. And Chris is here to review those results with you.
Yep, so we went out, as discussed, in February, opening on March 8th. We had 2 contractors provide proposals. Looking into those, we reviewed each of them individually, had post-bid interviews as well. We saw that one of them just didn't provide what we were looking for. We didn't quite need everything as specified. So, as you can see, we got an incomplete bid on that one. But they did provide a very good proposal in a sense, but this wasn't where we could go. Looking at our next one was Division 16, which was a complete bid. With that, we asked for a base bid proposal with onboard software, but as we looked at the software, it was more proprietary. So we had asked for alternates of an offboard storage or a media player, to play the software, which allows us to change softwares in the future if needed or needs change, which is an alternate A of $40,000. Beyond that, we also looked at, since we weren't looking for that onboard storage or that onboard player, looking at a different model of monitor as well, which allowed us to get a decrease of $19,518.20. And they also included sales tax, so we took that off as well. So just making sure that we go through and all the numbers line up. As discussed, this is for all of the buildings across the district, replacing the existing interior digital signage, but also adding 2 display monitors at each elementary and other schools. So secondary and primary. So.
The recommendation is to approve a contract with Division 16 Technologies in the amount of $168,382.95 for a digital signage system to be paid for with the funds from the 2019 bond proceeds.
So we'd come to the board this evening and ask that you approve that and help with our internal communication at our buildings.
All right, thank you. Motion to approve?
Move.
Nick, and support?
I'll support.
Christie, any other questions or discussion?
Just thank you for clarifying. I think the only question that the committee had was confirming that it was interior. So no big bright airplane landing lights in front of the elementary schools. I think that was it. Other than say building and sites killing it under budget.
Yes. Anybody else? No. All right, those in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye. All right, perfect, thanks, everybody. That's it for new business. We're going down to reports, and our student representative, Camille, has a athletic contest tonight, and so she's not going to be able to make it. So we're going to jump to number 2, MASB Annual Awards.
So we bring this as an agenda item just in case there was any comment about the MASB Annual Awards. Just wanting to make sure that if there was something the board needed to hear about that.
You all saw the invite for it, because that's hosted by the ISD. 10 days now, something like that. It's coming up. It's before I leave for vacation. But again, that's one of the best meals of the year, but it also has local legislators there. I'm meeting with all 3 of ours the day before, so I don't know if any of them are coming. But that's a really good rub elbows evening with peers, because again, it's the best banquet of the year.
I'll confess, I don't recall seeing the invitation for that, but maybe Jody, do you remember if I signed up?
Don't know, but I will check.
Okay, yeah.
We'll get that information back out to you.
Okay, yeah, maybe I didn't, I just, spring break happened and I
And
just don't remember.
I would just point out that if any of you are receiving an award, that notification might have come last year before the beginning of the school year, because it's kind of delayed. And in the past, Dr. Matthews, I don't want to overstep, but if you wanted to bring your spouse, let Jody know if you're in that category.
Perfect, thank you for that, thanks. Okay, next item, the KIASB MASB legislative dinner.
I think
Ditto. It's
Yeah.
the same, it's the same evening.
Oh, it is, okay, got it, okay, perfect. Got it, thank you very much. Okay, committee reports, I think just building and site, anything, Nick, to add?
We
Beyond
pretty
what
much
we've covered,
it,
yeah.
except for there's still a little legal finalizing going on with the water and sewage, and so committee was just given an update.
That's for Ederton.
For Ederton Trails. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So just stay tuned for that. Those things are still being finalized, but yeah, that was the only other agenda item we had.
I would encourage us to get video of the portables being taken away. That'd be really fantastic.
The committee did talk about a bonfire, which it wasn't supported by the other committee members, and so it did not pass.
All right, very good.
Can I add,
Yeah.
sorry, to that, and I don't recall if we talked about this at the board level, but at that building and site committee meeting, we talked about the Valley View bus loop that we just voted on. Like, that's going to alleviate a lot of traffic issues. So that was, I realized that when we voted on that, we didn't talk a whole lot about it, but it's going to be a huge benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. We did talk about before it went for bid here, but I believe you weren't here. But yeah, that was a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Now there's more space where the tail end of the bus isn't potentially knocking children off the sidewalk.
Right.
Yeah, perfect, thanks, Nick. And there weren't any other board committees, I didn't miss any, okay. Great, and then we're on to item 5, collaborative team reports. Dr. Matthews.
Thank you, and tonight we have Mindy McGinn for our elementary report.
Good evening, thank you for having me here today. Spring break has come and gone, and we find ourselves in the race that we call spring. We work really hard during these weeks to slow down and to set a good pace to make sure that our students and our staff are finishing in a strong manner. It's always a very interesting time because things pop up that you don't always expect, but we're going to be looking for them as they come. When we came back from spring break, our students had the opportunity to experience the eclipse, and that was a big rage. And if any of you traveled south over spring break, you saw every step of the way billboards about the eclipse and seeing them here. And I'm just glad that we're all back to see it here and didn't get stuck in any of that traffic or confusion. Our students were able to observe, model, draw what they saw that day. It was pretty impressive. Prior, some of our buildings had some amateur astronomers come in and talk to the students about what that meant, what they would be seeing. So very excited kids. I have this picture from my building of one of our 5th grade teachers and a row of boys laying on the ground with their heads back like this and looking up. It's just really, really interesting to see and fun to watch that they had that ability to connect. After the eclipse, our buildings are sending our leftover glasses that are still in good working order to our local library. They'll be shipping them to South America so that the children in South America will be able to view the eclipse coming up in August, I believe, of this year. So that's just a nice full circle piece. Continued with some of our academic pieces, we are finishing up some of our spring concerts. Those are wrapping up. We're making plans for our last field trips, some of the big ones, like the 5th grade field trip to Greenfield Village. Some of those pieces are coming along. We are finishing up reading month things that from March. Some schools are finishing up their one book, one school program. Spring events are starting, like Mileage Club. We've partnered with Hand to Hand for collections. Lots of academic tasks Probably the big one that started, well, actually will start tomorrow. Our 5th graders start their end-of-step testing. They'll start with their science test, and I think they're feeling a little nervous, but they're going to do it, do well. We have lots of transition happening at the elementary school level. As you know, we're working through our redistricting process. We are getting ready to plan some open houses for students who will be going to a new school. We want them to have an opportunity in their building to meet their new principal before the big open house in August. We think that will be an important piece. Invite them to come and play in the playground. Invite them to see the halls and the classrooms and things along those lines. So those will be coming, those dates will be coming soon. We're getting ready to have more furniture coming into buildings. Cannonsburg right now is going through that. Parkside, as I spoke earlier about teacher stations coming. Lakes gets their stations next week. We're super excited. It's a week in advance, which is even better that things are moving so well that it's coming more quickly. And then lastly, we're just getting ready for the fun of what spring brings. We have school carnivals coming. We have school picnics, Relay for Life activities coming. The ever sacred field day is coming with popsicles. We're hoping for warm weather. And looking forward to celebrating all of our educational staff, support staff, paras, teachers, staff appreciation coming soon. What questions do you have for me? All right, thank you.
Thank you. And our secondary report this evening is from Jenny.
Thank you, Dr. Matthews, Board of Education and Central Office Administrators. It's my pleasure to be here to report on the terrific work that our students and our staff are doing at this time in our Rockford secondary schools. The spring season has begun, as noted, and East Rockford and North Rockford Middle Schools will be giving the M-STEP and the PSAT next week on April 23 and 25. Although NWEA testing is optional, our middle schools will be running spring testing to measure system health and growth. Departments are working collaboratively around student assessment data in preparation for state testing. Our bands, orchestras, and choirs are preparing music concerts for the spring. Students have selected their electives for next year. And construction is in full swing, as has been discussed at North Rockford Middle School, and they're looking forward to a building shutdown on June 7th to make sure that the contractors can come in and finish everything up so that it's fresh and ready for the start of the new year. Implementation of the new social studies curriculum has been going well. Staff have been collaborating on how to utilize this resource for the remainder of the school year and looking ahead to next year as well. East Rockford Middle School has implemented bingo, movie days, and the week prior to spring break, a euchre tournament to keep students positively engaged during that lunch break. At the Freshman Center, the PSAT 9 is coming up on April 24. Science teachers organized and hosted a fun opportunity for staff and students to view the eclipse following dismissal on April 8, and approximately 40 students were in attendance. The RFC counselors are working with Kent Intermediate School District to plan a really cool event coming up on May 15. It's a career exploration event, and so the Freshman Center has reached out to some parents, and they have 15 parents. I'm told one of the board members is also participating, that have planned to come and speak about their career to groups of students. And if there are any career sectors that are not covered, the ISD is going to step in and send some people to help with that. So students are going to get to see 4 presentations, which is awesome. The Freshman Center, the high school, and River Valley are all hosting spring parent-teacher conferences this week, and so we're looking forward to meeting with parents and supporting our students in the 3rd trimester. At the 1012 building, state testing has started and is going very smoothly. 1,800 individual tests were completed last week at the high school, and we'll finish up with the M-STEP this week. Thanks to all of our testing staff for incredible organization and logistics management, as well as to our tech department for helping us, all of us, to successfully administer these online tests. Planners are gearing up for prom coming up on May 4th. Sort of a Star Wars theme, I'm told. May the 4th be with you. So, the master schedule is nearly finished for next year, and arena scheduling is going to start next month. Graduation planning for Rockford High School has begun. There have been several meetings with the staff of Calvin University already along that line, and graduation is going to be Monday, May 20 at 7 p.m. Congratulations to the Rockford High School Quiz Bowl Club, who placed 8th in the state tournament at the University of Michigan this last weekend. Along with their Rockford High School peers, River Valley Academy juniors and sophomores completed the SAT, PSAT, and ACT work keys assessments last week, and juniors will take the MSTEP this week. Right before break, in fact, the day before spring break, RVA students got to attend Michigan Career Quest, which is an event put on at DeVos Place in downtown Grand Rapids. And it's a great opportunity where students are able to try some hands-on activities in the 5 career sectors, and also have conversations with those employed in the field. So that was a great opportunity for us. Wanted to spend just a minute filling you guys in a little bit on Rockford Adult Education. And currently we have 3 locations. We have our main location located here in the administration building in the River Valley wing. We have a satellite location at Byrne, just up the road. And we just opened a new location at Lear Corporation, which is in the old Gill Manufacturing on Plainfield. And it's been a real pleasure to be able to work with them there. And we're developing our English as a second language program so that we can support them with their English development. And we're offering them a diploma track as well as a GED prep track, and in addition to the English language support. Rockford Adult Education has partnered with Byrne for the last 8 years, providing those same 3 options, and that's been a great partnership as well. As a side note, there's only 3 adult education programs in Kent County, and we're the only one that offers in-person diploma track. So something that we are happy to do. Rockford Adult Education is primarily grant funded through the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity, as well as federally through WIOA. And our program runs year round. So just wanted to give you a little bit of information about that. So on behalf of our secondary schools, I want to thank each of you for your support and for all that you do to help our secondary students to learn and to grow. So thank you.
Jenny,
Jenny, when is RVA graduation?
It is May 29th, 7 o'clock at the Rockford Freshman Center. Rockford Freshman Center. Thank you.
Oh, wait. So I remember when we added Byrne, and it was kind of a summer. It was pretty cool. And I know the census at the time, which isn't the last one we did, there were like 80,000 in the census in the northern Kent County region that had no high school diploma, and that meant a lot for the board to hear that at the time. I'm sure that number is still somewhere near there, but I think what was really educational is, and I don't know if we have this earlier, that, 40% of the Byrne employees did not have a high school. Yeah, it was a large number, which sort of like, well, by all means, set up a classroom at Byrne. Do you have a similar data set from Lear? Did they approach us?
So we actually took, there's something called Discover Manufacturing Week, and so River Valley was able to take a trip to Lear and make some connections, and so we were able to get this partnership going. And what was surprising, those who knew there'd be some English language learners, but there's a lot there. But what that's been able to do is help us to grow our program. And we have all of our teachers, as a side note, I don't want to take too much time, but they're all Rockford teachers as well. And so a couple of those teachers also happen to be Spanish teachers, so that worked out really well also.
Yeah, I might have misspoke. It was 80,000 in the region 3 that we're in, if I'm not mistaken. But I think we were the farthest north that does in person, if I recall.
We're the only one in Kent County that is in person.
Great, well, keep it up. Yeah, my support, that's a big, it's one of my favorite graduations, even though it's less than 5 every year. It's really incredible.
It is. It's a very special thing. Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, we're into recognition of visitors. We do have 6 folks that signed up to address the board tonight. I'd just like to take a moment to outline the guidelines for the public comment portion of our meeting. First and foremost, we value and welcome your input and feedback. We believe a collaborative relationship between our schools and the Rockford community is essential to achieving our shared goals. Public comment at the board meeting is intended to give the Rockford community an opportunity to address the board on issues in the Rockford Public Schools. At our meetings, the board and individual board members will not directly respond to comments or questions that arise during public comment, but may follow up through the superintendent. We ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes to ensure everyone has an equal chance to express their views. Please be respectful and avoid using inappropriate language or engaging in personal attacks. We want to create an environment where everyone feels comfortable expressing their opinions without fear of retribution or harassment. To ensure due process and respect for individual rights, the district maintains a formal process for handling complaints against individuals. If you have a problem involving an individual or a specific incident, we encourage you to consider addressing it through administrative channels by contacting the superintendent's office. Furthermore, we ask that speakers express themselves in a civil manner with due respect for the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by your comments. While it is not our intent to stifle public comment, speakers should be aware that if your statements violate the rights of others under the law of defamation or invasion of privacy, you may be held legally responsible. If you are unsure of the legal ramifications of what you are about to say, we urge you to consult first with your legal advisor. We encourage you to provide constructive feedback and suggestions for improvement, which helps us improve our schools and better serve our students, families, and community. We thank you for taking the time to share your thoughts. We look forward to working together to ensure that our schools continue to be a source of pride for our community. Lastly, please remember that public comment at our board meetings is one way we hear feedback from the community. It is certainly not the only way. Those who prefer other means to communicate often do so via email through the district website or by calling the superintendent's office. When we call your name, please step up to the podium and be mindful of the timer. Speakers are asked to address the board, not the audience or others in attendance. The audience is asked to remain quiet so speakers may be heard without interruption. Timer's ready to go. Up first is Brenda Wodarski. Is Brenda here?
She's not here.
Not here. Okay. Next is Brandy Ritzema. I hope I said that right. Good. Okay. Thank you.
Good evening. I submitted a FOIA request to Rockford Schools and unfortunately was not responded to in time. I followed up and then it was replied to, and when I got my reply, I felt the need to address the board and the public. FOIA laws are very clear. MCL 15.231 through 15.246 are very clear and concise. When someone requests a FOIA request, the charges and fees that you're charged can't be outrageous. And what I've been charged by Rockford is outrageous. I tried to address that issue by emailing administration and following up and got no answers. And then when I asked why I got no answer, I was told it's in the board policy. If you got no reply, that means there's no reply. That's not how it works. If you appeal something on the cost of what's being given to you, and FOIA laws state that the lowest paid employee capable of doing the job, not qualified, capable. And Rockford, lowest paid employee here is $87.72 an hour. It's also illegal to charge overtime on a FOIA request. Fringe benefits were charged without approval of an additional $43.86, totaling $131.58 per hour. On your FOIA request form, there is no spot for indigency, so people of low income, we should be able to let you know, hey, we're low income. I addressed that and that was ignored. There's just a lot of things, and then they did reply, Ms. Nestor did reply and lowered the fees, now stating that the lowest paid employee was paid $55.90 an hour with fringe benefits of $27.95. So I had to pay $251.55 to get $23 of redacted video. When I questioned why the video of a common area in the gym wasn't private instruction, no private information was given, so there's really no reason to redact it. I didn't ask for sound, I just asked for the video. I was charged $251.55 for 23 minutes of redacted video. I think that's a little outrageous, a lot outrageous, when it's very easy and simple for a school to do those things. They already have a system in place for those manners. And then another person submitted a FOIA request and was charged $12,600 for emails. You guys are breaking FOIA laws. Thank you.
Okay, up next is Jeff Rowe. Come on up, Jeff.
Thank you. I just wanted to start by saying I've got two wonderful kids in the school district here, and they've had just phenomenal teachers at Rockwood, and now my oldest at North Rockford Middle School. So just fantastic. Can't say enough good things about the teachers here. And the Explore program was phenomenal for my daughter. She looked forward to that every week, so I hope that program can continue on. I just, over the last couple of years, I've just noticed, at Rockwood, just some acute behavioral issues with a number of students in the traditional learning classes. My concerns are with those behaviors that are well outside the reasonable learning environment. We try to show grace in learning and growing, which is all normal, but chairs being thrown, tantrums being held where you need 3 adults in a classroom to exit a child is not an uncommon occurrence in his class. It's creating anxiety, and we're starting to see kind of those negative unintended consequences of being exposed to that for the last 3 years. And so my ask of the board here tonight is really just to ensure the proper resources are made available at Rockwood, whatever that might look like. I'm not professional, I can't answer that for you. I'll leave it to you guys to do that, whether it's smaller classes or additional special needs classrooms. It just takes a toll. It's been challenging for students, for parents, and then also for the teachers, having to kind of work with the widening range of needs kind of entering the school district. So I hope this board can take that into account. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Up next is Chris Crandall. Is Chris Crandall here? Nope. Okay. Moving on to Charles Curtis.
Yes. After being told last month that there's no pornography in the Rockford Public School libraries, I made the mistake of going back and rereading excerpts found in some of the offending books that are found in the library, like Gender Queer, Bluest Eye, This Book is Gay, Fun Home, etc. And it was literally like taking a bath in excrement. If I read them aloud here, I would undoubtedly be arrested for public obscenity. You can claim all you want that they are not pornographic, but you will never be able to convince most people that they are not deeply obscene and indecent, and thus potentially extremely harmful to minors. I have a few random comments from my exposure here. Number one is they are in total violation of state standards for sex education that declare abstinence must be taught and encouraged. These books do just the opposite. They glorify and encourage early sex and sex outside of marriage, which will lead to all kinds of future problems. Number two, they needlessly and recklessly expose minors to unhealthy and dangerous forms of sex. Number three, they put unhealthy thoughts and imaginations into undeveloped brains of children. Things children should be avoiding, not embracing. Things children should be protected from, not exposed to. Things that can create an addiction and a lifetime of harm. Literally, these books are time bombs waiting to go off in the lives of vulnerable children. They are atheistic in nature. Number 4, they are atheistic in nature, denying the inherent beauty of the created order and confusing children as to their true identity. Number 5, they don't put sex into any kind of moral construct. My gender is what I choose for the moment, and sex is the pleasure I get for the moment with no thought of consequences. This is a combination of narcissism and nihilism. Number 6, they bypass parental authority by sneaking this rotten content directly into the hands of children. So, if you're interested in some of the, I don't know if any of you have read these things. So, Jody Nestor, I give you my permission to provide any of you my email to send, that I can send you materials on this privately. I still can't imagine that you have actually read what you are allowing RPS students access to and yet do nothing about it. Thank you.
Okay, and up next is Andrea Jacobson.
All right, good evening, Board of Education, Central Office, Dr. Matthews. In advance of the Staff Appreciation Week coming up in May, I just wanted to say thank you to all of the dedicated teachers and staff of Rockford for their efforts in nurturing and educating our children. Their hard work and commitment make a lasting impact on the lives of our students. Thank you, Board, especially for supporting the wide variety of electives, classes, and clubs that these teachers and staff are able to provide to our students. I have seen firsthand how these opportunities inspire our students, give them a sense of belonging, and provide them with skills to use in their future education and beyond. Also, thank you especially for tonight's investment in the new elementary resource. I'm excited to see how our youngest learners benefit from it. I was able to speak with one of our elementary teachers about it just yesterday, and she had nothing but good things to say about it and is looking forward to its implementation. Thank you.
Okay, that's it for our public comment tonight, and on to superintendent remarks. Dr. Matthews.
Thank you, Mr. Folsom. I would like to respond to a couple of the comments that were made this evening. One is our FOIA coordinator knows and understands our FOIA responsibilities, and we work hard to ensure that we follow the law. I've had conversations with our FOIA coordinator about the issue that was brought before the board this evening, as well as Dr. Corey Wilson-Crawford, who has a deep knowledge of FOIA responsibilities. I believe that we have met the guidelines and have been transparent through this specific issue. However, I'll circle back with Dr. Wilson-Crawford and Ms. Nestor to review our process, and I'll inform the board of any changes that we might make. I appreciate Mr. Rowe coming this evening and speaking about the concerns he had at a building. And while we cannot speak about the specifics of individual students, what I can speak to is our commitment to working in each building and each classroom to creating safe spaces and positive learning environments for each student. And we'll work hard to ensure at each building that the needs of our students and staff are attended to in positive ways, and we'll continue to do that as we finish this school year and look to start the new school year in August. And finally, I appreciate the work that our teachers, administrators, and staff do in our schools. Spring is a busy time in our district. Testing has started, as has been said this evening. The good weather creates a different level of excitement in our buildings. But most importantly, our teachers continue to focus on ensuring that our students finish the year strongly. And I am appreciative of the work that our staff has done this year, and we're committed to finishing this year well, and I have confidence that we will. And that's my comments this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Matthews. That's it. We're adjourned.